Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Professor Natalie Games. I'm Dr. Natalie Van Dusen, and I am a professor at the University of Alberta. And I am here reacting to God of War Ragnarok with gameplay footage by the wonderful Cleansed in Fire. So let's dive back in.
Father, if you can't trust the fates, why do you care what they say?
For life, I can take no chances. Look here.
Corpse Swallower is what that means. So, Swallower of the Dead. Perfect.
Look, it's Hrothgar. Should we talk to her?
Ooh.
Hrothgar! Garmulesa Gerku! She says there's 6 stairs to close and, not to expect thanks. They shouldn't have been open in the first place.
She is not wrong.
I really like that depiction of Hreisvelgr.
The Mystic Gateway got buried.
I have it.
What's wrong?
I have been falling back into my old ways. Angry. Distrustful. With you. Now and before. I chased you away.
Without you, I got reckless. Overconfident. Made stupid mistakes. I don't know why I thought I could do this alone. You were right.
No. On our journey together, you have grown into a warrior, worthy of your namesake. I was the one who was not ready.
You don't have to be who you were just because I'm not there. Let's make a promise. I'll listen for your voice in my head when you're not there, to guide me. And you do the same. All right? I need to know you'll be okay without me.
Atreus. I am sorry.
Don't be sorry, Father. Be better. Let's go home.
So all Norse mythology aside, I love kind of, these moments where we get to the relationship between them and to things that I think are like relatable for really most anybody who's watching it. I just think it's really beautiful.
Nothing is written that can't be unwritten. Remember? We shouldn't let prophecy define our choices.
Then we will make our own destiny.
Did you want to take care of anything before going back to Sindri's?
No. First, we retrieve Mimir. Then you can tell us what you learned in Asgard. After that, we shall see.
You really do think of him as a brother. What about Freya? Seems like she moved in while I was away.
Once she turned her hatred back to Odin, she recognized our interests were aligned.
Huh. I tried convincing her of that, but...
When was that?
Oh. Before I started telling you where I was that night.
I see.
Hey, she didn't kill me.
I said nothing.
Oh, hi. You're looking for the boss man? Yeah. So sorry. He's off cleaning up all the damage Garm did. Yeah, and try back soon, yeah? Jerk.
I was hoping for maybe some kind of mention of Hreisvalger to Ratatosk, because that is part of the mythology that Ratatosk ran up and down the tree Yggdrasil, kind of trading insults between Hreisvalger at the top and Nidhogg at the bottom. So maybe that'll come up eventually because we've already had a little bit with Ratatosk and his relationship with Nidhogg being addressed. So curious to know whether that's going to come up a little bit later.
You're back. How did it go?
We should trouble us no further.
Well, that's a bloody relief. So you put down old Garm, did you?
Yeah. Sort of.
Atreus, your decision to go to Asgard after all he's put us through. I'll never understand it. But I hope you at least came back with something we can use.
I hope so too. Come on. Let me show you what Odin's up to. Here's what he cares about most. More than Ragnarok or anything. Is this mask. Anyone recognize it?
That thing? Ugh, it's a dead end. He's been faffing around with that since before I knew him. To be honest, I thought the giants were just having a laugh with that one.
Okay, fine. No. You're wrong, Mimir. This mask is no fraud. The giants didn't make it, and only a few of them ever glimpsed it in their visions. They never knew its origin, but some believed it was a way to gaze into the secrets of creation itself.
Is it an oracle?
Much, much more. Imagine becoming one with a source of infinite knowledge. This is why Odin tortured me.
So what do you think? Know it?
No. It's one obsession he never saw fit to share with me. But I'll tell you this. Even when Odin speaks the truth, his purpose is false. Either way, it's a mistake to let it distract us. Is Heimdall our focus or not?
We will rewrite our fate another way.
Then I'm going back to Vanaheim. If we're not taking the fight to Odin, I should help my brother stand against him.
We will join her when we can.
So it makes a lot of sense. I've mentioned this, I think, so many times in my previous videos, but it's so central to the mythology that Odin is obsessed, absolutely obsessed with knowledge. And that really defines most of his actions in the mythology. So to be obsessed with a mask that's associated with infinite knowledge, all of this is extremely fitting to who Odin is and what he is doing in pretty much all of the myths that are about him.
Father, I'm gonna study my notes on the mask, see if I can think of a plan. But if you want to go anywhere, I'm with you. And listen, everyone, I'm really sorry about the way I left. You know I've never hurt any of you on purpose.
Well, when you can turn into a bear by accident, I suppose these things can happen.
So, do you forgive me?
Of course, Atreus. We know you meant no harm, lad.
Sindri?
I'm sure I will. Eventually.
Okay. Guess I'll take it.
While we're clearing the air, I hope that I can be forgiven for not doing more when the Hellwalkers attacked. Whatever reservations I have about violence, they shouldn't apply when your home is under attack. And certainly not by undead abominations. Yet I reached for a shield instead of a sword. You were right to chide me for that, old friend. The next time the moment calls me, I'll be ready.
Well said, Tyr. I believe you just might.
You are well.
Take more than a port full of bone-chawing stiffs to keep me down. What am I gonna do? Walk around with a bandage on my head, begging for attention?
I was mauled by a bear!
Nudged, more like it.
Hey, wait! We're with you.
Mimir, what else do you know of the mask?
Only that it was the great passion of Odin's life. He journeyed across Aegir's burning ocean into the heart of the silent matron herself to find it. Lost every man in his crew, but to hear him tell it, it was worth all that blood and more.
Just to pause briefly and note that Aegir is a personification of the sea in Norse mythology.
Mimir, Odin's mask. How do you hear about it in the first place?
He said a voice spoke to him one night, entreated him to collect the mask and control his own fate. I still think it's all a bunch of bollocks. Odin got drunk, convinced himself a wooden mask would solve all his problems, and pranced about the realms until he found a sufficiently mysterious bauble to fit the bill. Mask probably doesn't do anything at all.
Yeah, probably. Now that I've spent time in Asgard, it's strange to imagine Magni and Modi there. Sif raised them both, right? She seems like a good mom. Maybe a little overprotective.
A good mother? Not the Sif I knew. In a culture as debaucherous as the Aesir, being a paragon of womanhood meant being a fierce fighter and a fiercer drinker. She and Thor seldom knew a moment's sobriety, whether brutally dealing with their enemies or, just as brutally, raising those boys.
What do you mean?
Oh, little brother. I know you didn't have an easy childhood, but you can't fathom how much worse it can get. Imagine learning discipline by having it thrashed into you time and again. That was Thor's approach, the same one Odin used on him. A poisonous notion of manhood passed down through generations. A grim inheritance, leaving all of them the poorer.
Well, Sif doesn't drink anymore. Neither of them do.
I am quietly flabbergasted to hear it.
I get the sense it's more recent for him, but I know he loves his daughter.
I expect that's the explanation. Sif goes straight in hopes that raising a good daughter will redeem their past failures. Thor struggles. Maybe she gives him an ultimatum after some breaking point or other.
Like what he did to Modi, that night he found us.
Oh, that's a deft guess, lad. And if that ultimatum worked, well, good for them. Truly.
So, Father's new spear, it's made out of a ring?
Draupnir, aye. Forged by the Huldra brothers as a gift for Odin.
How's it work?
Every so often, the Draupnir drips out identical copies of itself. The Huldras presumably figured that if one golden ring was a good gift, an infinite number of them would earn them a permanent place in Odin's heart.
But it didn't.
Not even a little.
So, Mimir, how did they capture Garm in the first place?
That was Tyr's doing. He lured the beast somewhere safe and kept it distracted by lending his own arm to be gently chewed. Once the chains were on and the gate to Helheim was opened, Garm bit Tyr's arm clean off in retribution.
But Tyr's not missing an arm.
Well, it grew back, eventually. He is a very resourceful god, after all.
Okay, so just a few sentences there, but a lot got answered for me. I talked in the last video about how in at least some parts of the mythology, it seems as though Garm and Fenrir are referring to the same wolf. And in Snorri's Edda, it is Tyr who is binding Fenrir. He's the one who is brave enough to offer his hand to Fenrir in order for him to be bound, and he does indeed lose his hand. In the mythology, it doesn't grow back, and they acknowledged why he has both hands, when that's something I questioned a little bit earlier as well.
We travel to Vanaheim.
Great. You gonna check in on Freya?
Yes.
Glad I get to come this time. So what happened the last time you were in Vanaheim? I still don't know how you got Freya to stop trying to kill you.
We traveled to her village to break Odin's spell. Once freed, she accepted that I was not her enemy.
You also missed a highly entertaining moment where Brock was lifted arse over face in Freyr's camp.
You met Freyr? What's he like?
Different from his sister. Lacks her conviction.
True, but he's a bit quicker to forgive.
And an ineffective leader.
But his heart's in the right place. You'll like him, lad.
Wow. It's beautiful. And, wet.
It is also dangerous.
More dangerous than hell?
Freya's camp is to the right.
No rush, is there? Not every day the lad gets to see a new realm. To Freya's camp, then. Time to see how the Vanir have fared in our absence.
I hope Freya's okay.
She can care for herself.
We're still checking on her, though?
Her brother's forces are outnumbered, and there is much I owe her.
No one here. Where is everyone?
Stay alert.
I don't like this, brother.
Kratos, Atreus, a welcome reunion. Unexpected, but welcome.
You know us?
Can't be. Is that who I think? Oh, you shifty bastard. It's almost good to see you again. And for once in the shape of a man, or nearly.
So that's how they got your head out of your ass. Maybe now you'll stop being such a half-blind, piss-drunk, oversexed liar. He was more of a pig than I ever was.
I do not know you.
Do you not recognize your handiwork?
Hildisvini! Remember when we first met Freya in the woods? After I... Oh. I am so sorry about that.
Freya's boar.
Her advisor. And friend. Counselor to the Vanir. And yes, while exiled at Midgard, I was trapped in my boar form. And then you shot me.
At my command.
No. My arrow, my mistake.
Forgotten. Vanaheim needs our help more than ever. Even Mimir's. Come. Just watch where you aim that bow of yours. My hide's not so thick in this form.
Okay, so Hildisvini, I did not talk about him in the last time that he came up. I did, I think, maybe mention briefly that Freya has an association with a boar, but now that he's back and in human form, I feel compelled to talk a little bit more about him. And I'm going to read directly from John Lindau. This is my very favorite text, which is an excellent guide to pretty much all things Norse mythology. It's pretty readily accessible. I think it's pretty affordable if you have access to any library system through universities, public libraries. A lot of them have kind of digital copies of them. So check it out if you haven't already. And I'm going to read John Lindau's entry on Hildisvini here because he puts it pretty succinctly and he says it pretty well. So the entry for Hildisvini, which means battle pig, it says right underneath it that Hildisvini is Freya's boar or her lover or her protege. So what Lindau says is that Hildisvini is known only from stanza 7 of Hyndluljóð. Freya is conversing with the giantess Hyndla, and the giantess accuses Freya of having her husband with her on a trip to Valhöll. Freya answers, "You are mistaken, Hyndla. I think you are dreaming when you say that my husband is with me on a trip to Valhöll, where a gilded boar glistens, golden bristled, Hildisvini, whom they made for me, skillful, 2 dwarves, Dáin and Nabbi." The husband in question is not Freya's husband at all, but Ottar, a human whom she has brought along to learn his genealogy. Some translators use lover for the noun in question, which literally means man. The relationship of Freya and Ottar is mysterious, although the poem makes it clear that Freya favors him because he has worshipped her. If he appears in this stanza in the shape of a boar, perhaps it is because Freya has transformed him. Hildisvini is mentioned nowhere else. So, with that in mind, I'm curious to see what goes on here and whether anything is indicated with regard to his relationship with Freya. That's one thing I love about this interpretation of the game is they choose like some, in some ways, really obscure references within mythology, but they clearly know what they're doing, and there's quite a lot of meaning within them. So the research that they've done is really, really impressive when they were putting together this story, and I think Hildisvini is a really excellent example of that.
We can head out whenever you're ready.
Where are we going?
I have a favor to ask. I'll explain on the way.
Where's Freya? She came here to help her brother.
She leads the search party for Freya and Bigvir. They've been captured by the Einherjar.
How'd that happen?
An ambush. The presence has intensified since your last visit. To make matters worse, the celestial wolves haven't been seen in days. Or at least I assume. Not easy, tracking time with no moon in the sky.
No moon.
Just like in their shrine.
Their shrine?
It's a long story. You want us to check on them?
You have my gratitude. We're spread thin, and anyone can help Skull and Hunt. Fellow giant.
Well,
You don't disappoint. Continue down this path, and you'll find their den. Good luck. And don't shoot any boars.
You think he's really forgiven me for shooting him?
Trust me, lad. If the old swine still carried a grudge, you'd know it.
What happened between you two?
The usual. Miscommunication, conflicting loyalties, broken promises. Nothing to concern yourself with.
I'm not concerned. Just curious.
Curiosity's all well and good. But so is privacy, eh?
Okay, okay. Point taken. Vanaheim looks and feels so different from the other realms. It's warm, like Svartalfheim. But there's a kind of thickness in the air.
Egros.
What?
Egros. Greek. For humid.
Egros. I like it. Going for more loot, huh? I saw a forge back at Freya's camp. Has Rock been helping them out this whole time?
Ah, you haven't met Lunda yet.
Who's Lunda?
An old contemporary of the Hulder brothers. She serves as Freya's blacksmith, keeping his team armed and outfitted.
Oh, another legendary blacksmith? I bet she has some good stories.
Take caution, Atreus.
What? Why?
She is quite... friendly.
Oh, nonsense. The lad's far too young for her taste.
What?
You know, lad, this excursion into Vanaheim means you've now visited each of the 9 realms.
Huh. Guess you're right.
Not many mortals can claim such a feat. Not many gods either. Even your father has yet to grace the halls of Asgard.
I'm in no hurry to do so.
Hildisvini said Freya and Bigvir were captured. Who's Bigvir?
He's a light elf, a former scholar exiled from Alfheim with his wife Bela. She may be their best warrior.
Why was he exiled?
You'll have to ask him for the full tale. But I take it that he and Bela's quest to unite their people was frowned upon.
Wait, Bela's a dark elf?
Yes.
Wow. Well, that raises even more questions. Hope he's okay.
Okay, so Bigvir and Bela. So in the mythology and what survives of the mythology, and as I've spoken about before, I think rather extensively, what we have is just a fraction of what once existed. But what does survive has only one mentioning of Bigvir and Bela. And it's actually in one of my very favorite poems from the Poetic Edda, in a poem called Lokasena. And he is really upset because there's a feast and he's not invited into the feast. And so he barges in and he proceeds to insult everybody at the feast. So he accuses a number of goddesses and female beings of sleeping with him. And then he also insults the gods in turn, usually by implying that they're cowards and things like that. But the prose header of this one does mention Bigvir and Bela, and it says that they are Freyr's servants. It doesn't say that they're elves, but it doesn't not say that they're elves. So, you know, certainly the possibility is there, especially because Freya was given Alfheim as a tooth gift, according to the mythology. Loki also turns his attention to them in a later stanza, or later 2 stanzas rather, in the poem, where he insults them both. Bigvir, it's thought to be related to the word for barley, which makes sense given Freyr's connection to agriculture and fertility in that way, whereas Bela probably has something to do with cow or something like that, but it's not entirely clear. Regardless, it's probable that both of them probably derive their names from something related to Freyr's domain, which is agricultural fertility, prosperity, things like that. So indeed, they are both Freyr's servants in the mythology, according to Lokasena, or Loki's quarrel.
I can sense them up there. It's gotta be their den.
Excited to meet Skoll and Hattie, lad?
I mean, I've heard all your stories. It's gonna be weird meeting them in person.
Legend meeting reality. At the very least, it shouldn't fail to entertain.
Vanir, you once told us Ragnarok begins when Skoll and Hachi catch the sun and moon, right?
I said it was foretold, lad. Prophecy. Which after our time with the Norns, we've all had quite enough of.
Still believes. That's gotta be why the Einherjar stole the moon. He's still trying to avoid Ragnarok.
Or he prepares for it. Fights a proxy war in this realm to distract his enemies.
Yeah. Or that, I guess. Hello? I think they're sleeping.
Well, there you have it. The legendary celestial wolves. Supremely entertaining, as promised.
Remember their shrine? They didn't rejoin the sky until after the moon returned.
And then chased an arrow across the sky.
Right. Well, guess we go find the moon and put it back where it belongs, eh? As if that's a perfectly normal thing to say.
Love how in the mythology they are very much portrayed as these like creatures that are going to bring about doom and destruction and, you know, the end of the world, Ragnarok and everything like that, when they eventually do swallow the sun and the moon that they're chasing. But in this game, they're just really good pups.
The Einherjar played a part according to Skoll and Hati's shrine.
Managed to stuff the moon inside a box, if memory serves.
But it didn't say where they took the box.
Aye, That's the rub of using prophecy as a map, isn't it? Bit sparse on the details.
There's a war camp in the nearby village. A strong fortress to guard their bounty. We will try there first.
So besides Hildesini and the elves, who else is part of Freya's army?
Not much army, really. Although Birger was a soldier, once walking the path of a traveler. I imagine he's handy with that enormous broken sword of his.
A traveler that doesn't want to kill us. That's nice. I'm ready.
Ne emun gere satt verinner. Alfa riller get mitt.
See that? I didn't know they could do that.
A new enemy.
Stay alert. Yeah?
Correct. Fitting.
There she is again. Guess they know we're coming. I can't believe no one's here.
They hide.
The Vanir aren't all hardened warriors like our dear Freya. Those who survive the warfare find it easier to hide in the jungle and use nature as their shield.
Empty.
Where'd they all go? Wait, there's the moon. Box? Down there. That's gotta be it. This is definitely an ambush.
Yes.
Oh.
Here's hoping that puts a dent in Odin's forces, at least for the time being.
I don't think Asgard's running out of soldiers anytime soon. Hey! Hurry! She's getting away! Come on! A double ambush? Okay, didn't see that coming. She's still up there. Another ambush? Really?
Third time's the charm.
They are not smart.
Aye, and there's that.
You know, what we're doing right now, all of this, it's almost exactly how we saw it play out back in Skull and Hati's shrine. The wolves are back in Vanaheim. We're rescuing the moon.
Yes. I remember the prophecy.
So, doesn't it make you worried? If everything we're doing now happened in the Jotnar shrine?
Remember our agreement. Prophecy will not dictate our actions.
Yeah.
Our allies need help. That is our focus now.
It's cold. Is this? It's from Helheim. Timed almost to grab this while I freed Garm. I was there, but I didn't know.
And now you fight to undo the damage. Your guilt is misplaced.
Yeah. No, you're right.
We can return to the den through here. They will pursue. Keep your guard up.
Father, how are you so sure we even have a choice about what we're doing?
Doubt is a weakness we cannot afford.
Who said anything about doubt? So far, we've done everything the Giants said we would.
We make our own choices. Nothing forces us.
But what if, by doing all this, what if we're walking straight into Ragnarok? Isn't there any way to avoid fate? Your fate? What if we can't stop you from...
Would you turn your back on the wolves? On this realm? Remember our agreement.
The lad does make some good points, though.
As long as Atreus lives, so be it.
Here goes nothing. Just like inside their shrine. If I do this...
Fate only binds you if you let it. Do what is necessary. Not because it is written.
Elsa!
Good choice, lad.
They have a gift for us. A way to call them anytime we need them. Remember that altar we saw when we first got here? I think that's where we're supposed to use it.
Perhaps Freya will know.
So in essence, they just gave us the keys of dusk till dawn. Not bad for a day's work.
We should head back to Hildisvini and tell him about all this. Yeah?
Yes. Back to the camp.
Yep. Still very egros. Liking it like
That wasn't the same one from earlier, was it?
No.
They come back fast, but not that fast.
In Asgard, what else did you see of Odin's army?
Well, all these Einherjar we've been fighting, they've already died in battle once. We kill them here, and they'll just wake back up in Valhalla. They never truly die.
Should it come to war, we do well to have our own endless army of dead soldiers.
You mean Helheim's army, like the prophecy said?
It will not come to that.
So, we report back to Hildisvini, then what?
We came here to help Freya. We will not leave without rescuing her brother and the Light Elf.
Okay, but Odin's not gonna stop searching for masterpieces.
That is his concern, not ours.
Sure, but if that mask offers all the answers...
Then it will surely exact a price. Be wary of shortcuts to knowledge.
Yes, Father. Who's that?
Ah, that wrinkly mug belongs to Helka. She's a Blothunder. Hounds prized for their pinpoint-accurate tracking abilities. You'll love her.
Kratos, Atreus. That eclipse was your doing, I take it. Thank you for coming. Big Veer used the diversion to escape.
What about your brother?
We know where they're holding him now. Bela's already prepped the explosives. If you're with me, we can leave as soon as you're ready.
I could use another shapeshifter's help.
Go with him, Atreus. I will aid Freya.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was excellent. So yeah, I know I talked a really long time ago about Skull and Hati. They are indeed wolves from the mythology. Loving all the wolves that are incorporated into this. I have to, or at least I like to think that the folks at Santa Monica Studio are dog people for a lot of different reasons. And I love how they're depicted here. And I love this special relationship that Atreus seems to have with wolves. But Skull and Hati are indeed wolves, and Skull chases the sun, whereas Hati chases the moon. And at Ragnarok, they're going to succeed in swallowing them. Really cool to be in Vanaheim again. I really like that detail that now Atreus has visited all 9 realms. I feel like that must be significant in some way. I didn't really, I think, realize how much I had missed Mimir. So it's good to have him back in the mix because his commentary is always excellent and he has filled in a number of gaps for me and questions that I've had, for example, about Tyr's hand and then this time mentioning Bigvir and Bela. So we'll see what happens from here. So yeah, before I go, I did want to ask if you could, in the comments, let me know a little bit about you. I'd love to know where you're watching this from and anything you're willing to tell me in terms of, how long you've been playing these games, your interest in Norse mythology. It's cool for me to know why people are watching this. And I'm just really thankful to be here and have people that are wanting to hear what I have to say, the translations that I'm doing, some of the dialogue and the names and some of the background information that I'm able to fill in with regard to the mythology that is behind the story that's being told here, which I am absolutely loving. So I will be back again soon because I can't wait to continue. We'll see you on the next one.